I would like to know why we are telling children, 13, 14-year-old children, effeminate boys perhaps, and masculine-presenting girls. 9 out of 10 times we know they'll grow up to be gay men and lesbians. That's what happens. We are now telling them in many places in this country, in large numbers, that no, they are actually transgender women or transgender boys, transgender girls, which to me seems homophobic, okay? To tell someone that because they are not conforming to a certain gender stereotype, that they are actually of that opposite sex, okay, and not that they're homosexual. And we know that this is happening because we know that there are detransitioners, okay, and this has been written about, and they have personal testimony themselves, okay, people who say that they were pressured into doing this when they were young. Perhaps a boy who likes to wear dresses and play with Barbie dolls is told, you know, you might want to go on hormones, okay, you might have puberty blockers. This happens, okay, and so this to me is one area where should be room for disagreement and conversation between some of the more radical trans activists, and I want to distinguish here between some of the more radical trans activists and an older generation of trans activists, by the way, who weren't in favor of these sorts of new ideas and policies when it comes to young people. I think that we as gay, lesbians, and transgender people should be able to talk about this and discuss this, about whether these are appropriate decisions that children should be making. I think it's also fair to listen to lesbians who don't want to be told that they should be expected to have sex with people who have penises. Okay? Because that is now happening in some communities, okay? That there are transgender women who have male genitalia who are telling lesbians that if they don't have, you know, if they are opposed on principle to having sex with them, then that makes them transphobic. How is this any different than telling a lesbian when she's, 18, 19, coming out of the closet, oh, just go sleep with a man, it'll go away. Okay, so this is like a new, weird, progressive homophobia that is now being, placed under this new label of trans rights. And I think a lot of well-meaning straight people are being gulled along and lulled along into this because they don't want to offend the latest victimized community, which is trans people. Gays now are, gay men and lesbians, we are now part of the oppressor class. It is now trans people who are the victims, and their concerns and their demands must be prioritized. And we are ignoring, and it's usually, by the way, it is lesbians who face the brunt of this. And most of the conflicts around transgender rights, you'll notice, have to do with transgender women, whether it's in sports for obvious reasons. Okay, if you've seen the photographs of, the latest photographs of a transgender woman winning a weightlifting competition. I mean, most of these things happen in one direction. Okay, and it seems to me that it is the height of misogyny. It is the height of misogyny for people with male chromosomal structures to demand that they be able to compete in women's sport. By the way, it was really difficult to get women's sports on college campuses, and women's sports in all sorts of realms. Women had to fight really hard for these Title IX things, and to now have people with, male chromosomal structures and bone structure and musculature of men insist that they be allowed to compete in those leagues, it just strikes me as something that we should be allowed to debate. That's all I'm saying. Should be allowed to debate it.
Do you think tall people should be banned from basketball because they have an advantage?
No.
So why would you say that a trans woman should be banned because she has an advantage?
Okay, so let's allow women in the NFL. Let's allow women in the NFL. I'm sure that'll go really well to have 130-pound women up against those linebackers. I mean, this is preposterous. It's preposterous.
Not everyone would agree with that.
They wouldn't, but it's preposterous.
Thane, what do you think about this issue?
I feel so unqualified. I've never felt so bereft. I'm just empty. I don't know how to respond. I have no idea how to respond. I will only respond by saying ideas should always be debated. If there are ideas, that's what they belong in the university.
Unless it's Nazi ideas.
No. If a Nazi, let me say this. If Nazis want to write op-eds about their complaint about Jews in finance or Wall Street, go for it.
Really?
Write your op-ed. Yes, of course. I'm talking about we are coming to get you. That was what I said when I was 17 that I was thrown by. That somehow that the Supreme Court thought that telling Holocaust survivors, "We're coming to get you," is protected First Amendment speech. If you have a problem with Jews and you want to write an op-ed about it, or you want to send out flyers about it, if the message in the end isn't "and let's kill them all" or "ship them somewhere else," that is still an idea that you can debate, and you can be beaten in that idea. That again, it's the same idea with the Muhammad cartoons, right? That somehow that offense insults Islam instead of saying, well, there is a politics to this religion, and that's what we're debating.